The small village of Willow Creek settled into its evening hush as twilight painted the sky in shades of lavender and deep indigo. Young Leo often felt adrift during these quiet hours, his parents working late shifts at the distant town mill. He'd watch from his window as the world softened, the familiar streets becoming mysterious pathways in the fading light. One particular dusk, his gaze snagged on a faint, luminous glow nestled beside Old Elara's cottage at the edge of the woods. It wasn't the warm yellow of her windows. This light was cooler, almost ethereal, a soft violet shimmer that pulsed gently against the encroaching darkness. A profound curiosity, tinged with loneliness, pulled him from his perch. He needed to know the source of that gentle light. Following the crunch of gravel under his worn shoes, Leo approached Elara's garden with hesitant steps. The scent of damp earth and night-blooming flowers hung heavy in the crisp autumn air. He found the old woman kneeling not by her door, but deep within her overgrown garden, her silver hair catching the last of the sunset before her, radiating that captivating glow, bloomed a small, perfect patch of violets unlike any Leo had ever seen. Their petals were a deep, velvety purple, almost black at the center, fading to a luminous amethyst at the edges. They seemed to absorb the fading daylight and radiate it back as their own soft, violet luminescence, casting delicate shadows on Elara's weathered hands as she tenderly brushed a leaf. They're called twilight violets, child, Elara murmured without turning, her voice as soft as the petals she admired. Rare little souls, they only open fully as the sun dips below the horizon, and their glow fades completely by true nightfall. She finally looked up, her eyes crinkling with a kindness that eased Leo's lingering shyness. She patted the mossy ground beside her. My grandmother brought them here long ago. A tiny slip of hope carried from another land. They need the quiet magic of dusk to truly show their hearts. Leo sat, mesmerized, watching the tiny blossoms seem to breathe with the cooling air, their gentle light a beacon against the deepening blue. Leo began visiting Elara and her violet patch every evening. He learned the rhythm of the garden, the thirsty roses, the climbing beans needing support, the herbs releasing their scent when brushed. But the twilight violets remained the heart of it all. Elara taught him their delicate needs, the precise amount of water, the way the evening dew sustained them, the importance of speaking gently to growing things as he helped weed around their luminous bed. Leo felt a warmth spread through him that had nothing to do with the fading sun. The loneliness that usually filled these hours was replaced by a quiet companionship and the shared wonder of watching the tiny flowers awaken, their violet light painting soft patterns on their faces in the gathering gloom. One crisp evening, Leo arrived to find Elara unusually still, her brow furrowed as she examined the violet patch. A creeping vine, unnoticed in the summer's abundance, had stealthily woven its way through the delicate plants, threatening to choke them. Oh, my dears, Elara sighed, her voice thick with worry. Her fingers, usually so steady, trembled as she tried to gently untangle the invasive strands without harming the fragile violet stems. Leo saw the genuine fear in her eyes, a fear not just for the plants, but for the precious legacy they represented, the fragile beauty entrusted to her care. Without a word, he knelt beside her, his smaller, nimble fingers carefully working alongside hers in the fading violet glow. Their quiet struggle drew unexpected attention. Neighbors, curious about the unusual sight of the boy and the old woman working intently by a softly glowing patch as darkness fell, began to pause on their way home. First came Mrs. Gable, carrying a small lantern. Seeing their difficulty, she set it down to illuminate their work and offered her own careful hands. Then Mr. Finn, the baker, stopped, rolling up his sleeves to carefully cut back the tougher parts of the invading vine. Soon, a small circle of villagers knelt or stood quietly around the violet patch, their combined lantern light blending with the flower's own ethereal glow. Together, working with painstaking care, they freed the twilight violets, a silent testament to the community forming around the small beacon of beauty. Years flowed like the creek beside the village. Elara's steps grew slower, her time in the garden shorter. The care of the twilight violets passed fully to Leo. Now a young man, he tended them with the same reverence Elara had shown, understanding now they were more than flowers. They were a living memory, a symbol of connection found in the quiet moments of transition. When Elara finally slipped away one peaceful dawn, it was Leo who lit the lanterns around the violet patch that evening. As the first star appeared, he gathered the neighbors who remembered. They stood in respectful silence as the violets opened, their soft purple light a gentle farewell, bathing Elara's empty chair in their luminous glow, a quiet celebration of a life intertwined with fragile, enduring beauty. Now, Leo sits where Elara once did, often with his own young daughter nestled beside him as dusk descends upon Willow Creek. They watch together, the air cools, the first stars blink awake, and slowly, miraculously, the small patch beside the cottage begins to breathe with light velvety purple petals unfurl, radiating their soft, otherworldly amethyst glow into the twilight. Leo whispers the story to his daughter Euro, the story of the lonely boy, the kind old woman, the rare flowers that bloom only at day's end, and the enduring lesson learned in their violet light, that even in the gathering darkness, moments of pure, gentle beauty persist, waiting to be found and cherished, connecting hearts across time under the quiet watch of the dusk sky. The glow is a promise, a fragile, luminous heart beating softly against the night.